Um, you see the weird titles I have. It's because of the things they do. I use these perps ways of trying to gaslight me as titles to my videos. Um, anytime they, I mean, they're like children in the way they try to gaslight you. Um, and that's done purposely. I think they try to simplify the gaslighting, the repetitions. I think I heard that this is a way to just kind of make it simple for anybody to participate, to see the same thing, and words that are easily repetible by anybody. You see the not real. So first of all, I'm a target individual. I'm a TI. I'm a human subject the government is utilizing this technology on to manipulate and to experience different manipulations via this technology. This is Department of Defense technology. And they contract these bottom feeders. I call them bottom feeders because they are civilians who are supposed to make you accept these manipulations. They make you experience things that are forced onto you. And then they try to make you have a logic that's nonsensical to accept these manipulations. I've realized that now it seems maybe it's closer to the end that the people, I don't know if it's the same people, but the logic is becoming more illogical, more obvious that they're just saying things to just kind of agitate me more than try to convince me. Because the good thing about making videos so early on, 3 years ago, I've been making videos about the same thing. Reactions, manipulations that are stimulations of my libido, make me have sexual arousals, make me have weird sensation that's just weird to say, just like a weird brain thing that you get that is falsified. And I recognize that this is falsified. You can just feel an intense feeling. And this is usually aimed toward children, but they've done that to even adult women. Like I remember seeing a woman like, I would not feel this way. Have I felt stimulation toward women? Of course. I'm a man. I'm a straight man who've looked at women in a sexual way, who have have been aroused by women. But I recognize that there's a falsified aspect. You know when it's fake. You feel an intense feeling that's just weird, right? It's like, oh, what the? But when they do that to babies, to children, obvious babies, when it comes to adults, young adults, or somebody who look like an adult, it's easier, like it's not as crazy, right? And so that's what they do. They like to then, every time they do the manipulation, they try to change, they diverge, right? They're like, oh, you abuse. What they like to do when they force you to get experience that nasty and pedophilia centric, then they start talking to you, oh, you abuse. They will try to bring up, and that's what they try to hold on to. They try to bring up what I did as a child. I did something stupid to myself when I was a child. They try to exaggerate it. They try to make it worse than what it is. But imagine a child who's a 13, 14-year-old. They can do things that are stupid. Childhood, a brain that's of a child that's developing, you gotta understand kids can do impulsive things like that. That's what a child is capable of doing. In my head, they try to create like nonsensical logic. But as they bring that up, me as a target individual, I'm aware what they actually do to children. As they talk about child abuse, they torture children using this technology, this Department of Defense technology. And every time I bring that up, it's like, not real, right? When you obviously hear the testimonials of what they do to children. So when they talk about me as a child doing some stupid thing to myself as a child, having to exaggerate, understanding that a child doing an impulsive thing of a stupid child, that if you caught this kid doing what he did, you just put him on the corner and say, hey, go, just like the way you would punish a child. Because you don't understand children can do impulsive things, but they have to exaggerate. While this trash are actually torturing children sexually. They do things that are so disturbing to children. I mean, kids as young as 3 weeks old. 3 years old, sexually torture, which they like to say not real, to try to dismiss the fact they torture children. That's why I have this video called Not Real. And so when they do this pedophilia type of torture for me, then they're like, oh, but remember when you were like 13, 14? And I'm like, okay, so you want me to somehow be acceptive that as in my late 30s, I would be thinking that it makes sense that thinking like a 13, 14-year-old me. If that's the truth, which is not even true. There's not one even. That's not even how I used to think when I was a child. But even when I try to use that argument, this nonsensicalness, you're saying that you make me think like a child, and that now we mapped it. So you manipulate my brain to have my brain to be like a child. You understand how stupid they have to make themselves be, and then you hear them come up and try to gaslight you in these childlike ways because they think that violence is when people are just frustrated that you're not accepting of this retardation, you see it for what it is, just nonsensicalness, childlike ways of trying to confuse somebody or make somebody accept something that is obviously falsified. But they have to make me subscribe to this, and I'm not, because I know they do the pedophilia type of torture. One thing is for sure is they are systematic. The systematic tortures is so systematic. They do the pedophilia type of torture. Literally, somebody's saying that. But they won't be, no, with you, we're just making you be a child. And they're actually using childlike individuals in the hope that that's going to make it more sense, right? And to try to gaslight me to accept this. It's like they come in and just tell me about how the violence I'm going to go through. It's like they're going to beat you. And they use this, like, it's like a child, right? Or somebody that you know who's like just such a fraud. And it's like, oh, they're going to beat you. It's like, okay, and then what does I have to do anything? They try to box in these thoughts. Like, it's so obvious they're going to beat you. I'm so bored. They're going to beat you, right? And they do these things where when they make me experience the manipulation, it's like, oh, they're going to beat you. You understand what they're trying to do? They think that the fear of being tortured should make you accepting of something that you know is not happening naturally. You understand? And this is a government-led program. So you hear this noise campaign, this noise pollution I'm hearing. They all try to box in these manipulations. Because I know that I'm not subscribing to this. I'll never subscribe to this. I've been thankful by reality. I'm thankful that I was alive to be able to see the testimonials and also the validation that these people who are trying to make me subscribe to these pedophilia things that they make me experience are actually working for entities where pedophiles are running the show. The CIA, DOD, DARPA have their fingerprints, DOD beyond fingerprints, basically, this is their money, are running this program. And it's obvious they're using these CIA tactics. And these CIA tactics are coming from the CIA. CIA happened to have a problem with pedophilia, which BuzzFeed exposed these entities, these agencies, to have a pattern of pedophilia. Matter of fact, in the article, they say there's been a pattern of child abuse in those agencies. As they try to make me subscribe to these pedophilia things they do to me. They caught a man working at CIA with 1,400 child porn on his government computer, on the CIA computer. You understand the obvious pattern of what they do. For me, they're like, no, remember what you did as a kid. And having to exaggerate what I did as a child. While these people, there's a CIA agent who's doing something to a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. CIA raping children. You understand the reality? So I've been validated beyond nth. Not only you do the pedophilia type of torture, which, by the way, target individuals have systematically said they do this pedophilia type of torture. They even, when Robin Dahl can ask questions in regard of like the patterns of things that almost all target individuals experience, one thing is they force child porn in people's brain, right? Now that's dead, obviously. That's why this person, this perp comes up and is like, oh, they're gonna beat you. Like a child's like, oh, you just heard this obviousness. You know it's just too obvious you guys to do pedophilia type of torture. I'm so validated, but I understand it doesn't stop what's gonna happen to me. Whatever's gonna happen to me is gonna be done by somebody who's part of this program. If these next door bottom feeders can involve themselves in this program and try to make me subscribe to this nastiness, somebody who's capable of actually cut me in pieces or stab me, why would that person not be able to do the same thing that this childlike individual next door can do? But they want me like, now we convince them so bad. You see how they look at their phone so close? It's like, no, they're just like you. They know that you can do the pedophilia type of torture. They participate just like you participate. They know, and they're probably even going to have fun, just like you have fun, manipulating me to experience these things. But I know that's because I'm being manipulated to experience these things. And when you try to say, no, we're making you experience something that you experienced when you were a child. Matter of fact, there's a time when somebody even said, it's like, no, now you think like when you're 14. Saying that, we're like, do you understand how stupid that is? He literally said that. So you gotta understand, you think this people is not a logical man? Why would you make an adult person think like a 14-year-old child? Can somebody logical to make you like think? Of course, they know. They know that you have to be manipulated. And when I was 14, I wasn't thinking like that. But even just, let's just say it's true. How stupid are you going to have to make yourself be? You look at a grown-ass man, it's like, hey, you know when you're 8th grade, you're thinking just like when you were in 8th grade. Huh? You trash ass. And then you send these retards. They're like, no, they are. Like, because they know even that's not even true. But sometimes I just even, just let them, just that retardation on its own. It's beyond retarded. So that's why I have this thing called not real. Because not real is every time I bring out reality. It's not real that they torture children. They abuse these children using Department of Defense technology. It's not real. They do the pedophilia type of torture. Not real. We mapped it. They force people to have thoughts of child porn in their mind. Not real. We mapped it. It's you. Almost all target individuals are forced to see child porn in their brain. Not real. Forcing me to think in this way. Try to change who I am. Not real. Creating this program perversion and aiming toward children. Not real. Zapping children's genitals. Not real. Torturing a 3-week-old baby. Not real. So that's why I call it not real. So I'm like, hey, are you going to do the not real things you do? That's who I'm talking to. And then, for example, they brought up when I went to this museum with this person. Oh my gosh, the stimulation they're making me have. Now, there's people who you don't know if they're adult or not adult. Like, they're on the cross. Like, I don't know. Like, being in my 30s sometimes, when you a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, really, sometimes I'm just like, you are 20 years old, but you look like a child to me. I remember asking this person, like, how old are you? She's like, I'm 22. I was like, what? I thought you're like 17 or something. So sometimes, like, for me, it's just like, oh my gosh, they look so, it becomes like hard to tell what, right? And that's why they check IDs, because some people look older than their age, right? And so I remember going to the museum, and there was this person wearing a scarf. I was getting a stimulation. Stimulation is like, that's too intense. But at least this person can pass for an adult, a young adult, like a 20-year-old. But I know this is falsified. And they're like, now we mapped you because you have felt stimulations. Yes, I have had stimulation. Maybe not this one, but I'm a man who had stimulation before. And me, myself, have been 20 years old. I've been a young adult too. So are you mapping to me being somebody about her age? You understand how stupid it is? I'm telling you that I know I will not get the stimulation, but you have done that to babies, 9-year-old children, babies. So when you do that to somebody who's maybe a young adult or so, it's that you can do that to babies, and guess what? Not real. They've done that to others. This woman in North Florida is literally saying that they've been doing this program perversion, and it's just aiming toward like young people. Children, teenagers. See how not real it is? So you gotta be strong. And they try to box in. It's like, oh yeah, no, you see, you said you felt stimulation before. Of course I felt stimulation before. Like every adult man. But I know this is falsified. And the reason why you're forcing me to get stimulation is because she's such a young adult. Like, I don't know if she's a young adult. She's a young person who actually could be a young adult. I don't know. I'm not I check everybody's ID. Like, hey, excuse me, can I check your ID? Like, I don't know who you are. You're just there taking pictures, and I'm forced to get stimulations. I know it's falsified. So, that's that. And so they're like, no, but you felt stimulation before. Yes, I have felt stimulation before, like every man. But this is force. You can make me feel sexual arousals. You've done that to babies. So her, who actually can look like an adult, I'm not sure how old she is. You can do that. And it was intense. I was like, no, this is just too much. You just forced him. I could feel it in my brain. Like, oh, I feel like it's just intense. Nothing wrong with her. Not saying she's bad looking or not. It's like, this is just still intense. It's like, it's like, no, you felt it before. You see, that's proof. And so these retards want you to accept these things. If they can manipulate you in these horrible ways toward babies, somebody who's a, I don't know, young adult or just about to be young adult, at that point, it's like, if they do these things nonstop. Matter of fact, today they were bringing up something they messed with me before. I used to watch these things, like this wholesome, like Instagram, like thing. And there was a brother and sister, and the sister had a boyfriend. It was to be wholesome. This girl is like a teenage girl, and her brother's like a young adult. And they used to have like, and the teenage girl also had like a boyfriend. And they used to have like wholesome videos, you know. And it was just the wholesome stuff. Of course, they try to bring it back and try to manipulate it with different perceptions, reactions to it. Give me stimulations. I was like, look at this, impossible. It's like, it's not impossible, but I'm saying like, that's not what I was experiencing. I know me, right? They try to make me say, it's not impossible. No, I did not experience that. I, myself, did not experience that. When I saw this, it was like wholesome. It was like refreshing, wholesome content. Brother, sister, the boyfriend, you know. And they'll try to mess with me. It's like, oh, you thought she's pretty. Oh, she's very pretty. Look at her. Good for her. She's pretty. Oh, retardation. So they mess with me again, and I made a whole video about it, and they would try to make me think, oh, but you've been on her Instagram profile. I was like, I've never been on an Instagram profile, but I wasn't sure. I was like, how about maybe like you know, mind you, my brain is fried up, and I'm not gonna remember details like that. Like what, like, or moments like I don't know if I actually did. I can't remember exactly. I'll have to go back to the profile and see if I actually went, seen the profile, and I realized, oh my gosh, I've never been on her profile. They just wanted to trick me to go on her profile. So then I go back and I see pictures of her. I was like, I've never seen none of these pictures before. And then I go so back when she's like younger, she's like 15, 16 or so. And she's at the beach and she's wearing a bikini and her cleavage is out. Oh my gosh, the stimulations they made me experience, it was crazy. And she's wearing a bikini that's really revealing, and she's like, her cleavage is like kind of pushed up a little bit. So they can really try to create some nasty perception. They can make me look at kids the way I would look at a woman. So they start doing that. Oh, you see bastards. Like, no, but that's the shit you do to me. You can make me look at kids in a sexual way. And I know that's what you guys do. And they're like, no, but you see how you saw her now? Yeah, now when I'm manipulated to get these nasty manipulations and perceptions. Of course I know that's your job. I'm never gonna let you leave your fantasy. You guys are low-life pedophiles. I don't care if you feel bad. But my job is, as they do these things to me, as they walk me through this path of torture, I'm making sure I'm dragging them with me. It'll never be, when this is over with me, when I'm rotting in hell and I'm dead, these people, when they walk the street and do these things, they just wait for that day. For me, one thing I've noticed is reality has been helping me. Because they can't say Roy Moore. They can't say Roy Moore. A pedophile that picked up 14-year-old kids, and me, they forced me to get stimulations. Like, oh no, we mapped those stimulations. You're just forcing me to get stimulations. Have I ever had stimulation in my life? Yes. You are making me feel this stimulation that's falsified. You can do that to babies. But no, we mapped it. So, have you ever stimulated? Like, yes, if I was a person her age, I'm sure I'll get stimulation. But I will not feel this intense feeling. It's like, it's like I can feel this falsified reaction. I know these things. You can do the noise campaign. It's not going to make me accept these things. And I know you guys are actually the pedophiles. And these pedophiles can't even say the name of Roy Moore. I have a picture of this person if you want me. She had a scarf on, glasses on, and everything. Kind of make it hard also to figure out her age. I'm like, hey, listen, you can make me feel stimulation, though I know it's falsified. But you've seen the videos of these kids, obvious kids, they forced me to get stimulation. So for me, it's just like, listen, this is how it's going to be from this point on. Since August 19, 2019, I've been forced to get stimulations, reactions that are falsified. And I have perps contracted by the government to try to make me accept of these manipulations. By every means they can, noise campaign, intimidations, warnings of whatever I'm going to experience. to make me subscribe to this, because there's probably a trash outside or trash next door whose job, what she's gonna be doing is framing me. It's a child probably, and this child is gonna try to say that I did something to her, or they're gonna make something up and say something that I don't know, but there's gonna be some frame. These people who can't even say the name of a pedophile that picked up kids as young as 14, but they're mad. These people who force stimulations onto children. So that's why I call it not real. Oh, and matter of fact, there's another title you see there. You prefer, because sometimes when they do the little kids, the babies, they're like, no, you prefer kids like this, like that look like this, like 6, 7, 5 years old. You prefer. And see, now we map that to that's like trash. That when you're a kid, that's how. Do you understand how retarded they are? These people who work for entities where this CIA agent doing things to 2-year-old and 6-year-old, they're like, no, when you were a kid, that you look at like a 6-year-old like that when you. No, the 5-year-old is mapping to try to make me subscribe to that. Saying now when you're a kid, 5-year-old, that's what, 6-year-old, whatever. And that now in third grade it'll be a 7-year-old, right? In third grade, when you're 14, like that's. First of all, I'm not a child. I'm not a kid. And so please understand how retarded, especially when they try to go as young as third grade. That means like 9 years old. When they talk about me as 14 years old, I'd never had these things. I never had the stimulations. Now, I did something stupid as a child. Impulsive kid who just did something stupid. It was an impulsive moment, and that was that. The reason why it never happened again is because it was an impulsive moment that a child that age, going through whatever they go through, can do. Now, I'm talking to people who do pedophilia type of tormenting. They do the not real things. Systematically. So, for me, it's been honorable and dignified to be able to speak like that and recognize the manipulations for what they are.